I turned this Coffin into a go-kart, but that's not enough for me. So I'm going to be putting a turbo on it, because why not?
Now I do want this to be drivable, so I think installing a steering column is a must.
I'm not sure if you can tell by camera, but the wheels are pointing in like this, and I want them like that. I know it's got camber, I just want them to be straight.
So I did a quick trim to the tie rods, and that fixed the issue. I also had to modify the Coffin a little bit more to fit the steering. Now I wasn't going to, but I thought I might as well install the brakes. Now with any engine you're going to need a source of fuel, and since I'm working with a custom frame I had to make a mount for my new fuel tank.
I've gone ahead and mounted the seat bracket and a fuel tank, which is mounted here very securely with a few zip ties. But the problem I'm having is with the carby. I bought this carby online, but the only problem I'm having is the bolts that I need to mount it to the engine. They're not fitting through the hole. I can bolt it in on one side, it's just the other that I can't. The carby issue can be fixed, so I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. But for now, let's install this seat. I haven't really thought about this part, but I've got no idea how I'm going to reach the pedals or do the steering. When I sit down in the Coffin seat and stretch my legs out, they're kind of obstructing the steering arms. The only way I can see me reaching the pedals is if I make a custom frame and weld it to this. But then again, I don't know how I'm going to use the steering wheel, because the steering wheel is this big and I'm definitely not going to have enough room to do that.
It definitely isn't perfect, but I pushed the seat bracket back just a tiny bit and welded the steering column in position.
But just hooked up the brake cable and it's working wonderfully. Carby's on, the brake line actually broke, so I have to fix that again. And you probably won't be able to see this, but there's a spacer for my carby and I think I actually cracked it, which is making the engine rev a lot higher than it should be at idle. And I also kind of forgot, I don't have a clutch on this thing, so there's only one mode and it's go.
Now to do the final little touches on the Coffin lid so I'm actually able to sit inside of it. Now this video wouldn't be possible without my sponsor Max Speeding Rods for sending me out one of their turbos. So I'm going to leave a link and discount code in the description of this video so you can get 10% off all their auto parts. Now we're not going to talk about my welding skills here, okay? But we did manage to make an intake and manifold for the turbo.
Very nice! I am going to be installing this kill switch. The main reason, I don't want to die. Finally got this thing running and I feel so stupid for the reason why it wasn't running smooth before. So the whole time there's a little vacuum port right here and I had to block it off and I never did that. I didn't catch getting it running on this camera, but I did get the end of it on my security cam over there. Now that it's running somewhat decent, I feel confident enough to run it with the turbo on it. And since it's a two-stroke engine, I have an expansion chamber between the engine and the turbo, which will help it run better. Brakes, check. Throttle, check. Steering wheel, oh wait, never mind. Turbo intake, all hooked up. I made the sketchiest connection here, but it works, I think. Since this is a two-stroke engine, obviously the oil cooling for the turbo, it can't really happen. So I've just chucked some oil in the turbo itself and then capped it off. This is definitely not a long-term thing. This is just so I can like drive it up and down a road. But in the future, I will do a long-term solution for having oil cooled for the turbo. I'm about to start it up with the turbo on it for the first time, but there's only one thing I'm worried about, and that's if there's any debris from when I was welding in the intake or the exhaust for it to go through the engine or the turbo, which will pretty much ruin it. I'm like 90% sure it's all clean, but it's all together now, so I reckon we just start it up and hope for the best.
All jokes aside, here's the first attempt.
As you could see, the engine with the turbo was running very rough for some reason. I did end up fixing it. Did I record it? No. And I only just realized this now as I went to edit the video. We're gonna refilm and pretend like I didn't forget. It was revving a bit high there, but there's a reason for that. I put the original carby back on, and obviously since it's a different carby size, the intake manifold I made doesn't fit properly, so I just put tape here, and that's the reason why it's revving high. But I talk about this later on in the video. I just had to refilm this, otherwise no one would believe me. I actually got this running. And a shout out to Max Speeding Rods for sending this turbo over to make this weird build come to life. So we took the Coffin out for its first test drive yesterday, and here's how that went. Faster! Faster! Third attempt, taking it down, try to get it started. Still, there's something wrong with the tuning that we have to fix up. What? I have no idea what it is. I did put a bigger jet in the carby. I'm not sure if we're flooding it now. There's a big storm about to hit, so we can't even stay out here for too long. So it's something I kind of have to do at home. Have one more attempt on Friday, and then after that, there's not much else I can do about it.
So I actually ended up reaching out to someone who does go-kart racing pretty often, and they know a lot more than I do about carbys and two-stroke engines, and they recommended for me to put the original carby back on. And on top of that, they also helped out and gave me a new set of tyres for the Coffin.
Oh, it's exhausting. Oh. I'm just trying to work on my Coffin. Hey buddy, got a big piece for ya. Yeah. So I have good news and bad news. The good, we made a turbo Coffin and it ran. But unfortunately we couldn't get it drivable on the ground for whatever reason, which I'm still trying to figure out. If you have any idea on why this isn't running when it touches the ground, please let me know, because I'm stumbled. I'm thinking the issue is between we just keep flooding the engine before we're able to get a good push start. It's not the turbo, because we're having the same issue when it's not even on the go-kart. Where I mounted the rear axle, it's not straight enough, and when it touches the ground, it just stalls it. But it does spin freely when the chain's disattached, so I'm a bit confused about that. Or for whatever reason, I'm a bit too fat. I haven't tuned the carby right, and it maybe just doesn't have enough torque to push me in the go-kart. Because that's what I'm thinking, because I have no other idea what the problem could be. I don't even know how many weeks it's been since I tried to start fixing this issue. Definitely way too many. So I'm gonna end the video for it here now, and when I figure out the problem, we're taking it through the Max's drive-through.